Chardonnay sunsets. All my girlfriends say that's where it's at. Well, I guess there's something wrong with my mindset. 'Cause I'd rather be out picking flowers in a field, in a summer shower, far from the crowd, city lights and cell phone towers. I'd rather be riding in a paddock, catching Z's in my favorite hammock, counting the stars in the clear night sky for hours, or picking flowers.
Hello, hello. It is Saturday night, and this is the Jammin Jukebox radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and I'm so glad to be here with you tonight, and glad that you are here with us. It's Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day to everyone out there. So I hope that wherever you are listening in tonight, you are enjoying yourself and having a great time. And we have got a great show lined up for you tonight. We have got up-and-coming, I want to say she's a little bit bigger than up-and-coming, country artist with a pop feel, and she is really making some headway in Nashville. And without further ado, I'd like to bring on Miss Alina Smith.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, Alina. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. I wanted to tell the listeners that we opened the show tonight with your song, Picking Flowers, which is a song that you've been promoting for a little while now, and it's getting quite a bit of press and airplay. And, every song has a story. So tell us a little bit about what's the story behind that song.
Well, you know what was going on. I just moved to Nashville about 3 months ago, and I moved from Los Angeles. Very, very different vibes. And that song was sort of like my angst, I can say, living in L.A. I really didn't like, how everybody's focused on looks and, what you're wearing. Oh, is that Gucci? All of that. I was getting a lot of that, and L.A. is a great place. I like a lot of things about it, beautiful weather, nature, but that was just kind of rubbing me the wrong way. So I wrote that song, and I was just like, I'm going to go to Nashville where people are real, where everybody's just so down to earth and sweet. And that song kind of just like burst out of me. Didn't take very long to write it at all.
Oh, I bet. And, I think some of the best songs are written on it, based on your own personal experiences a lot of times. And, as I listened to that song for the first time, even I've never been to L.A., but I could completely identify just based on, what you see in the media about the celebrity out there and all the goings on. And it really, it really speaks to that. And it makes you realize just how nice sometimes it is, even in the hustle bustle of our everyday life, just to be able to, just to pick flowers and not have to worry about,
It's true. I grew up out in the countryside, picking flowers, picking mushrooms and berries with my mom and my grandma, just kind of like dancing in the field and singing, into a little stick when I was 3 years old. So to me, it's a lot closer to my heart, more of a natural lifestyle like that than LA, which is, really fun, but, it does require a little dose of fakeness.
Yeah, and, I think sometimes the simplicity of life is just the best form of life because, you can kind of pull back from everyday, fast-pacedness of our world today and the things we have to do, and it's just nice to have that moment where you can just breathe and reflect and just not have to worry about, any of that. So I
tell you, you're so right. You're so right. Yeah, I just had my vacation for my birthday, and my favorite activity of everything we did was laying in a mud bath. And it was just this really stinky mud bath. I felt like a little piglet, and I just loved it.
Well, and happy belated birthday to you, by the way. When I saw that you were, going to be on vacation, I was like, I always think it's neat when you can actually make yourself go somewhere on your birthday, because oftentimes, you have people, your family, they want to celebrate and do all these things, and it's nice to get away anytime, really. But when you can do it for a special occasion like that, it's really cool. I hope you had a great birthday.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. We went up in a hot air balloon, and that was, a dream come true for me, just seeing the beautiful Napa Valley, California, just stretching out underneath. It was a breathtaking moment, I should say.
Oh, gosh. Now, in comparison, I'm on the East Coast, and I'm in the Carolinas, where the humidity is, especially this weekend, it's like we're going out with a big bang the last weekend of summer, and the humidity is just still in our faces. What is the weather, the climate out in Napa Valley?
Hey, I understand. I live in Nashville. I know your pain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're just a state over, and the humidity on this side of the world, it does not discriminate. I think it's all over the East Coast. It's crazy, but yeah, I've always heard Napa Valley was just a beautiful, beautiful place, and so kudos to you. I'm glad you got to go.
Yeah, I get really inspired out in nature. A lot of my songs have, nature, and I'm kissing tree, picking flowers, and I just, when I'm out in nature in a beautiful field or in a forest, I feel like thoughts come a lot better than, when I'm with my iPhone and my iPad and my Mac at home.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, speaking of being out in nature, I saw recently where you performed live at the Grand Canyon. And for those of you out there listening tonight who have not seen that, you need to go to Alina's website, alinasmith.net. She has a video on there posted of her performing at the Grand Canyon. And, it's breathtaking. And what was that like for you?
Well, thank you. It was really interesting the way that came together, because my friend David and I, we were, moving me over from L.A. to Nashville, and he was like, oh, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, let's go. And we went, and, of course, since we were moving, I had my guitar with me, and I was like, oh, let's go, shoot a little video. And my thought was maybe to have a little video in every bit of, the states that we were passing through, but let's face it, what's more spectacular than the Grand Canyon? Nothing. So once we got there, he got his camera out, and he was just like, oh, this is great. And after a while, we just got so many great shots. We were like, we're not going to shoot anything else. This is it. And, it was funny because I had to climb down to the edge of the canyon because I didn't want to, get tourists in the shot or anything like that. So, and I was wearing, high-heeled boots and, I was going to dress everybody around me as in sportswear. And I'm like, I'm just going to do this. And David was like, oh, be careful. If you fall in, you will be famous, but you probably don't want it that way, do you?
Not at all. Well, I had the privilege of going to Tucson back in May and for a work event, and it was unbelievable. I don't get out of the Carolinas much, but it was really neat to just see the whole, the culture out there. And I wish I had an extra day or two. I would have made the trip to the Grand Canyon because I cannot believe I was that close. I did not get there, but I understand it's just unbelievable. So
yeah, the West is just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I have a song, Red Rock Girl, that is all about the West. I think of it as an ode to the West. I wrote it when I just moved to Nashville, and I was like, this is too green. And I was thinking about the beautiful red rocks next to my home, where I come from in Las Vegas, where I'm from in America. So I wrote that song, and I miss it a lot. It's really beautiful out there.
Well, you are an incredibly talented songwriter and artist, and the first song I ever heard by you was In Your Eyes. And I have to tell you that when I heard that song the first time, I loved the sound, first of all. That was an immediate given. But the sound was just so different from what you normally hear in normal mainstream country music. It was like a breath of fresh air, and it offered your sound has something very unique and different to offer to country music that you just don't hear. And I really like that music. It had a little bit of a vintage country feel, and I couldn't help but feel a little reminiscent and nostalgic when I was listening to it. But it's just an outstanding song.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really enjoy all types of country. I love, the old country, Dolly Parton and Hank Williams and Emmylou Harris. And, I'm really inspired by folk, too, like John Denver and James Taylor. So, I just, in my music, I combine all the elements I like. And, some songs are a little bit more modern and radio. Some songs are more reminiscent of the 70s. So I don't really restrict myself too much. Whatever's coming out of me as a songwriter, I think if it's coming out, it's natural, then let it be.
Well, I really like that because you can definitely tell, your sound is country, but then it's got a pop feel to it, and you hit the nail on the head. It does have that 70s feel to it, and I'm a huge 70s music fan, so it's nice to see that you've combined so many different genres into your sound, and that I think is going to be, it obviously has drawn an appeal to lots of people, and it will continue to do so. And one thing I want to talk about a little bit is your success. The Herald Examiner magazine has termed you as one of 20 artists to watch, and some of the listeners may not know this, but Grammy-winning artists Lari White and hit songwriters Danny Myrick and James Otto have sung your praises. And then, as if that's not, not all there is to know, you also have millions of fans and followers, through viewing your videos on YouTube. You've been to Japan. People have covered your songs. You've got millions following you there. And it's like you're known worldwide, but yet you seem so humble and down to earth. How do you keep yourself so grounded in spite of all this success you've seen?
I thank you, first of all, but, I just don't think about it too much. I just think about my goals and what I still would like to accomplish, and, I don't really care if, if I'm famous or not. I care about my fans very, very much. I want them to love my songs, I want their days to be brightened by them, I think every artist feels like that, and I don't really care about the fame thing too much. I guess that's why they kicked me out of L.A.
Well, I think that your music really speaks to people, and it does make you happy. I mean, when I heard, In Your Eyes the first time, and I've since listened to other songs, and, you can't help but get happy. You're kind of bouncing along, the song's playing, and it does cheer you up. It's if anybody needs to pick me up, play Alina Smith music. You will get it. So,
thank you so much.
But, I imagine, and this would probably be the case with most any artist, but, when you've got all the success and you've got fans and you're, it's kind of like you got the best of both worlds. But I imagine sometimes it's got to feel like a whirlwind, at times. My head would be spinning, obviously. But it's such a compliment when you can have people that really acknowledge what you do and appreciate what you do. And that has got to be probably the highest compliment you can receive as an artist.
It's really great. It really is. I'm not going to lie. I think any artist that says, no, I don't care what people think of me is just lying. Because we all do. We love to be acknowledged for what we do. And it's so exciting. It's really exciting also when other artists and songwriters acknowledge you. Like I was performing at the Commodore Grill, which is their little local songwriter round performance place in Nashville. And I had a writer come up to me, and he was maybe in his 60s, and he was like, that song you played was the best song I've ever heard in this club, and I've been coming here for 13 years. And I was just very humbled by that. I was like, wow.
Yes, that is very, very complimentary. And it just doesn't get any better than that. When you can, when you're doing something and someone comes up and you don't know their backstory. I mean, you don't know their like, where they come from, and then to tell you something like that, that has got to mean the world. And I'm sure it's a great motivator because it makes you just, it just adds to what you're already doing and your passion, and so.
Yeah, it does. It's like an exchange of energy. I put my passion and energy out there in the form of songs, and people put it back to me in, the form of their stories and what the songs mean to them. And I love that. I love my fans. I have some of the best, most loyal, most talented fans, that, do covers and do beautiful art. And I've had a couple of girls send me jewelry that they made themselves, and it was just amazing. And, I love that. I love just the connection with the fans.
Yeah, and it just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you do it for the fans as much as you do it for the fact that you just simply love what you do. I mean, and that means so much. And, well, let's talk about your music. Let's talk about this new music that you've got out, and tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm about to release an acoustic EP. It's called Acoustically Alina, and I have a download preview on Bandcamp. You just go to alinasmith.bandcamp.com. And the special thing about this EP is going to be I'm going to give it away for free to my fans. It didn't cost me anything to make it. I did it in my studio, put a lot of love and hard work into it. But I think since it's acoustic, the fans deserve to have it for free. So I'm going to be giving it away, and I want people to have it. I want them to hear my songs the way they were written in their purest form.
And I think that's awesome. That is a real testament to the kind of artist that you are, and how much you give back to the fans for giving to you, and and I think it's such a neat thing when artists do that. And if that is anything like what I have heard thus far, your music, it's going to be phenomenal. So I will be sure and check that out myself, and I'll probably grab myself a copy as well. So now you've recently moved to Nashville, you said, a few months back, and what has that been like for you since you've been out there?
It's been really, really, really amazing. I kind of thought, why didn't I do this years ago? Because Nashville community is just extremely welcoming to people that have real talent. And I've just gotten so much love from other songwriters and producers and artists, and I've been able to go on tour with Steel Magnolia because they just liked me and invited me, and I write with Grammy-winning songwriters out there, not because I'm famous or anything, just because they really like my talent. And that's a big difference, between Nashville and places like L.A., which are more focused on, fame and success. And in Nashville, It's all about quality. And I got to tell you, I'm so humbled half the time I go out just to hear music with my friends, and we hear incredible songs. We're like, why is this not on the radio? You hear so much talent, such inspirational, beautiful music that, I couldn't imagine now living anywhere else. I just love it that much.
And you really said it well, and I've said it a lot since I've been listening to music of indie artists. Indie artists as a whole, it's some of the best music I've ever listened to, and because you guys put everything you've got into what you do, and I have said that, I get music in all the time, and I have said that more times than I can count. Why is this person not already signed? Why, like you should have a recording contract. I mean, seriously, you are amazing, and you have the kind of stuff I could easily hear on mainstream radio without any.
No, it's a plan. It's a plan, but right now it's all about the fans.
There you go. And, since you've been in Nashville, the listeners, found out that you've worked with, you've been doing some co-writing with some amazing and talented people, like Trey Bruce, who writes for Trace Atkins and Faith Hill, and Chris Bergness, and who writes for Winona Judd and Tim McGraw. I mean, that, wow. That's, how is that? I mean, how does that feel? Or, what an experience that must be.
You learn a lot when you do that. I'm really lucky to be doing that. I hear that for some people it takes a long time to break into the writing community. Luckily, because I'm an artist, it makes it easier because people think they're going to, get their songs or co-written songs on my record. So it makes it a lot easier to approach very, very successful writers. And I mean, I tell you, it's crazy some of the things these people come up with, and just the culture of writing in Nashville is like nowhere else. I mean, people will sit and they will, agonize for 3 hours over one line because they want to make it perfect for the song. There's no, let's just throw this together. Here's I love you, baby, baby, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I know, it's like, those songs that have the same verse that artists repeat over. I'm like, well, that one was a real hard one to write. You just
in Nashville, it's like half the time you start a session and the writers will be like, what do you have? What are your ideas that are unique? Everybody wants to do something that hasn't been done before. And, that's a challenge, and I love a challenge in my life. I'm like, I don't want to do something easy. Like, give me something hard so I can accomplish it and feel great.
Well, and not only that, but in doing so, you're setting a standard of your own that, others may look to follow or emulate that hasn't been done before. And that is challenging, because... I mean,
that's music. That's really music. Anytime there's a great artist, that artist is an innovator. Period. There's never been a great artist that's a copycat of somebody else. So, and it's hard, it's hard to try to be original, but, I think any artist has got to do it because that's not only how you move yourself forward, but just music as a whole. See, I just love that about music, how, artists from 70 years ago affected artists from 50 years ago, and artists from 50 years ago affected artists from 30 years ago, and so on. We're all like one big growing thing, and I love that.
Oh, yeah, and it really, those artists who are the originals and are one of a kind, they stay, they make music history, whether it be country music or some other genre. They're the ones that you look to, that you draw from, but yet, I think every artist wants to have their own unique identity and their own ability to say, hey, here's what I have to offer. And, it's challenging, but I imagine it's got to be fun because you really do get to, embrace your creativity, but you also get to, let it flower, so to speak, as in picking flowers. So
yeah, it is hard. It is hard these days because there's no artist development anymore. Back in the day, they would throw $20,000 at you or whatever to develop you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you really got to do it on your own. It's almost like back to the basics. Like in the 30s, you just have to do it. And if you come upon a style that's your own and unique, then you just hold on to it, for dear life and not let it go. So it's a lot harder, but, it's also cool because it really gives people an opportunity to really be themselves.
Well, now that you're, kind of getting your feet wet in Nashville and you're doing some really amazing things, who is someone that you would really like to work with?
There's a few people. I'd really love to work with Marcus Hammond. He wrote God Bless the Broken Road. He's a really, really fantastic writer, and I saw him perform at the Listening Room 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I want to write with this guy, so I sent him an email.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
That's right. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed for you because that would be amazing.
Thank you. And there's people like, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's people like Paul Worley that have produced Lady Antebellum. They're just innovators and extremely creative people. And I would, I have my list. I have my list. So hopefully, keep your fingers crossed for me.
Oh, don't worry. And, well, on that note, have you ever thought about doing a duet with anybody? And if so, who would be your dream duet partner?
I have done some good duets. I just did one with this artist called Jammin. He's not my brother. He's an incredible singer, country pop singer, and we did my song, The Love We'll Never Make, and we played it at a show, and it was incredible. Literally, the whole room just stood up, and everybody was quiet, and, he just added beautiful, beautiful harmonies to the whole song, and, it was just like a huge hit with the audience. So, I've done things like that. Dream duet, Keith Urban.
Wow, I know.
Yeah, there's a few good male artists that I really like. My friend James Otto and I, we've talked about maybe doing a duet. He's a really, really great singer, too. And there's some female artists like Miranda Lambert that I would like to do a duet with. So, you never know. That's one great thing about being an artist is that when you connect with other artists, sometimes all the, the little BS kind of falls away, like your label, what they want you to do or whatever, and you just want to be artists. I mean, that's how Pistol Annies came together as a group, which they're one of my favorite groups right now.
Oh, yeah, they are amazing. And I want to go out on a limb and make a prediction, and that is I do believe that you will get to have a duet with Miranda Lambert one day and some of the other people, because as good as your sound is, I think it's just a matter of time. You're in the right place, and I believe you're just right on the cusp of
thank you.
A household name. The first time I heard your music, I was a fan. I was like, wow, I love this, And because, honestly, all music is wonderful, but you do have some of it that is kind of cookie cutter and some of it that kind of, when you've heard one song, you've heard this one kind of thing. But yours is just so, like I said earlier, it's just very refreshing. It's unique. It's different. And I think listeners, people, fans of music, that's what they want. They want something new and different because they can hear the same old any day of the week. But it's nice to have something new. I think about Taylor Swift. She writes all of her own songs, and she, just kind of came out, and a lot of her stuff is born out of, experience. And it was different, and it was really kind of quirky and fun. And, so I really think that you are going to have a tremendous future in country music. I really do. And it's just a matter of time.
Thank you.
And when that time comes, when the time comes, I can be proud in knowing that I had you on our show, and and I can say, hey, I knew her win, kind of thing. But speaking of your music, who are some of your greatest inspirations?
Man, there's a lot. I'm literally inspired by all genres. Like I said, like Dolly and Hank, old country. Then I really do love some of the new country, like Miranda, like Rascal Flatts. I'm also really big on 70s singer-songwriters like Joni Mitchell. And then also I really love R&B and soul. And you can probably even hear it in some of my vocals. I used to listen to a lot of Aretha and Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. And, I love all music that's got feeling in it.
Well, if you could do a remake of any song, past or present, what would you like to do? And give it that.
Yeah, I was playing around with Border Song a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah?
I really love that song.
Oh, you should record that. It is a beautiful song, and do it Alina Smith style.
I don't think there's been a country version. I know Aretha Franklin did like the Oh My God version, but I don't think there's a country one. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I think anytime an artist can take a song and make it their own, especially if it's a remake, it it really does give listeners a whole different perception of the song and a whole different way of listening to it. You know, I know, like, I'll use American Idol for an example. You know, you've got the contestants on there, and they're forever singing, you know, different song covers, and they're adding their own special twist. And it's nice to see it because, you know, when you hear it as an original song, you know, you hear it as that way. But when someone comes along and they reinvent it, so to speak, it's really amazing to hear the creativity coming through and someone adding their own spin to it. So you should do that. You really should.
I would love to. I'd love to do a covers album sometime, just some of the best songs and, you know, just do my own rendition.
There you go. See, we're collaborating right here on air.
I'll give you a clap.
Never ends when you're an artist, you know? So, well, you know, what's your favorite song to perform or that you have performed?
There's a few. I really like Landslide. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. Let's see. Back in more of my soulful days, I used to do a really sexy version of Let's Get It On.
Well, see, there's 2 songs for your remake cover album. So, you know, there you go. We keep talking, we're going to have the whole album playlist down. So
pretty much. Pretty soon. I'm just going to pull my mic out, you know, and just going to start recording.
There you go. So, you know, we and I would love, if you do that, send me your stuff, because I'd love to get on the station. I would love to listen to it. So that would be really good. And, you know, so what do you have quite the backstory. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
I don't know if your fans know that you were born and raised in Russia. And so how did you get from Russia to America? How did that all come about?
Well, it's actually kind of a crazy story. I was a child star in Europe. I was in this group called Aurora, and we toured everywhere in Europe. We did TV, we did festivals, really just awesome shows. And, you know, I did that, I think I was 5 or 6 when I started. So, you know, I did music, and I helped my family, I helped support my family. It was really great. But after a while, the particular thing about that group was that it was just rotating its members. The group was famous. You know, and the members, as they would get too old, they would get kicked out. So I knew, you know, my career with them was just about over, and my parents knew that. So they thought it would be really great for me to move here, and we had a relative here, my mom's cousin, and we just set it all up, and I moved as a teenager, and here I am.
Oh, wow. Well, how was that? Because I assume you left your family and came to the States, you know.
I did, yeah. I was a kid. I was a very young girl, and I moved. I left my family, and, you know, luckily there's Skype now, so I can call my parents and I see them. But, you know, I haven't seen them in person in many, many years now.
Oh, wow. Well, that had to have taken a lot of courage, even though you knew coming to the States you had a relative here. But, you know, that still had, you know, to be a little bit scary, you know, a little bit. I mean, you had been performing pretty much all of your life, so that was kind of
it was, you know, I was really excited about it, and I absolutely love this country, and I've loved it from the first moment I stepped onto the ground at the Las Vegas airport. You know, I have some really good friends back home, and my mom and dad are wonderful, so I miss them. And, you know, it wasn't much of a culture shock because I've spent my life touring in Europe, so I've met a lot of Americans, and I've met a lot of just different types of people, so I was just not very judgmental and kind of like, hey, anything goes. So it wasn't like a big deal as far as culture. Just the biggest thing was, you know, I kind of felt a little alone.
Well, it took no time for you to start, you know, making friends and gaining fans, and really getting your feet wet here in the U.S. And I must tell you, you know, it is, I imagine it's hard enough to, like, break out and be an artist and to try and come into your own. But to be, you know, from another country and then to come here, even though you're bringing all this experience with you, you're so young, and to just have that opportunity, you know, to grow and thrive in another country and, you know, to follow your dream. I mean, that has got to be every person's dream in life, is to be able to follow their dreams. And so you're one of the lucky ones that really gets to live it out.
Very, very lucky. I mean, I think about it every day. I get to do what I love with all my heart every single day of my life. I've never had to do anything else. I have wonderful people around me that support me and, you know, like what I do. So, you know, it's great. And I know it's kind of like scary moving somewhere else or pursuing your dreams, even if you're not moving. I mean, I'm a big advocate for that. I mean, if you don't pursue your dreams, you're just going to be unhappy, and what good is that?
Right. That's right. And you know, and I think sometimes when we pursue our dreams, it does take a leap of faith, and it does involve risk. And there is a huge question mark, and there are all these unknowns. But when you're able to finally see portions of your dream realized little by little as stepping stones along the way to your ultimate goal, it is so worth it. You know, you quickly can abandon the fearfulness that you may initially feel, because the rewards have got to make it just all worth it.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, I have a lot of fans that are also artists, and some of them are, you know, pretty advanced, and they're doing really well, and some of them are just beginning. And I have fans, like, that are teenagers that are just getting into it, that are very talented, and they want to know, what do I do? And, you know, like, I have my fan Sean and my fan Chris that write me all the time. They're wonderful. And I just tell them, you guys got to just go for it. You believe in yourself, and you go for it. And if it doesn't work out, hey, at least you went for it. You gave it your all.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about. And so, speaking of fans, we have a question. You can't see this where you are, but we've got people in the chat room tonight. And someone in the chat room, his name is Michael Slater. He was asking, he said,
hi, Michael.
Alina, yeah. He says, Alina, how do you come to your sound? How did you come to your sound?
Oh, my God, talk about the broken road. I mean, I started out singing as a kid. I sang everything. Our group, we did literally classical music, folk music, R&B, pop, country. We sang everything. So I had such a blend of sounds in my singing that I didn't really even know what I wanted to be. At first, I thought, well, hey, I play piano, you know, I'm kind of soulful. Maybe I can be like Alicia Keys. So I pursued that for a while, and then I really realized I wasn't as good of a writer of that type of music as I am of country and pop. So then I was actually kind of scared of going country, because I was like, my background is so different from somebody that grew up in the South. You know, it's a whole different thing. And so I went more pop, but I just kept coming back to country. It just kept kind of seeping into my songwriting, you know, and certain phrasing in the choruses, or just the way I, you know, sing my vowels. And after a while, I'm just like, screw it, I'm just going to do country. And ever since I did that, and I really went for what my heart was telling me, I saw such a difference. You know, fans love it that much more, and I'm just so excited about it. So, you know, what I would say to any artist is it's really hard to find your sound. God, it took me like, I don't know, 7 years or something. Just it's a very long process, and I would just not get discouraged. I would listen to a lot of music, write a lot of music, and just keep following what your soul is telling you to do, because eventually all the different things you like are going to blend into a sound. And that's when you know you have something.
And, you know, and in your case, you obviously sing a lot of different kinds of music that helps you to figure out what your sound was. And I must say,
true.
you know,
I knew I was crappy at singing like Katy Perry type songs. I knew it, you know. And then I knew it's just trying all these different styles. It just really helps you discover your voice.
Yeah.
You know, your physical voice and your voice as a songwriter.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Okay, well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to open up the lines and take a few calls. And,
sure.
All right, well, let's see here. We have got, this one's been holding a little while. I can get it. Okay. All right, area code 740. You're on with Alina.
Hi, Alina. How are you?
I'm great. What's your name?
This is Veronica. I'm forming a band here in Zanesville, Ohio, the Argolites. You tweeted me earlier and invited me to the show. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the show. I'm really glad to meet you.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you, and I'm so happy because I told you that you're going to be somebody famous, and you will. I see
it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to call and tell me this. It's just so heartwarming.
Yeah, I just wish you the best of luck and congratulations and happy belated birthday as well.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, let's see. All right, next up we have okay, area code 804. You're on with Alina. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
You're on with Alina.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Sean.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Pretty good. I just wanted to ask you, when did you decide you wanted to become a singer?
Well, I don't think I even decided. You know, I was probably like 2 or 3 when my parents played a lot of music and my dad played the accordion. And I just, my earliest memories are just singing to, you know, his playing the accordion. And then I got discovered by this group when I was like 5 or 6, and then I was on tour in Europe. So it was just this kind of like thing that happened and just took me on a journey. And I just love it. I think it was the best thing that could ever happen to me.
Oh, wow. Well, I just wanted to call and ask you that, and I wanted to tell you that I'm very proud of you and that I wanted to congratulate you on your successes. And
thank you so much, Sean.
You're welcome, and I hope that one day you will reach the very top of the charts, and one day you'll just be the best of them all.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really sweet.
Oh, sweet.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
bye.
you so much for calling, Sean.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let's see. Next up, we have Sean Barber. Go ahead, Sean. You're on with Alina.
Oh, sorry. This is my Skype. I accidentally clicked on this. I was already on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Gotcha. No
All
problem.
Right. Sorry.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so, you know, we talked a lot about your music, and you have done, I mean, you're multi-talented. You play guitar, you play piano, you write your own music, you produce, you know, you do a little bit of everything, and the sky is pretty much the limit for you still. But what is something you'd like to do that in the future that, you know, be it musically or otherwise?
Well, I definitely would love to write a novel or a series of novels. And I know that's kind of like out of left field, but I actually wrote stories, and I've written a couple of, you know, little novels that I wouldn't let anybody read when I was a teenager. And I absolutely love writing and reading, and I constantly have ideas, which, you know, I speak into my little iPad, and it takes down for future years. But I absolutely have no time for that right now, and, you know, I wish I was a vampire and didn't sleep. But I do sleep, so I don't have time to write right now, but I'm hoping sometime in the future I can get to do that.
Oh, gosh, that would be amazing. Well, you know, it's obvious you're very creative. It shines through in your song writing and the lyrics to your songs, and I think you would make a great writer. You know, and I've always loved to write. I wrote a book some years ago, and it's kind of been in an ongoing editing phase. It's never really gotten to that point where it can be marketed or sent to a publisher for consideration, but a friend and I have been kind of collaborating on this. This has been kind of a 5-year project, and it's been kind of a back and forth, you know, work on it when I can kind of thing. And so I hope to get it finished completely before, you know, I'm dead and gone. It's on the bucket list, but I hope.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
Well, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, I kind of within you writing is, you know, be it whether it's in the form of writing music or writing novels, writing is something that I think is just, it's within, and it's within all of us, but it's a passion I've always had. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I have such a deep love for music, because, you know, the lyrics that are written in a lot of songs really do speak to people and, you know, into their situations and their experiences, and people can so totally relate to music, you know.
You're so right. You're so right. I mean, writing is everything to me. As much as I love singing, you know, sitting down and, you know, extracting a song out of my brain that didn't exist before, it's magical. Every single time that, you know, a great song comes out, I'm kind of like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and, you know, and music is one of those things, you know, that it can grab you within the first 5 seconds. It, you know, and you listen, and it kind of pulls you in, and you're right. It's kind of like, wow, where has this been? You know, and that's what great songs are made of. I think they're born out of true inspiration and deep creativity, and, you know, and it does appeal to people, and it speaks to people in all different kinds of ways, depending upon, you know, where they are at that moment in time when they hear the song. And I think that's why music is so powerful, you know, for so many people.
It's true. You know, I used to be like a huge Michael Jackson fan, and, you know, I was like dance to his songs for 5 hours a day when I was a kid. But even now, if I hear, you know, Billie Jean or The Way You Make Me Feel, I just get a surge of energy that's just like, oh my God. You know, I know the song so well. I've heard it 1,000 times, and, you know, 1,001 first time, it's like the same as the first. It's amazing. That's what great music does.
That's right. And you know a song is great when you can hear it over and over again, and it is like hearing it for the first time. And
you know, there's some catchy songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Michael Jackson really set the stage for, you know, that sort of thing, because, you know, he had so many hits, and as did, you know, many artists, but I don't know. I love his music as much today as I did back in the day when he was at his peak. And he just, he's gone. His legacy has lived on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he wrote some great songs, and, you know, whatever people say about him personally, he was a great artist. I'm so mad I didn't get to meet him.
Oh, I wish you had of. I think there's a lot of people right there with you that would have just loved to meet him. And my favorite song that he did was called "Man in the Mirror." And, you know, Michael Jackson, he wrote so many of his songs, especially towards the, you know, the latter part of his career, were just so, they were so much about loving people and this world and everyone taking care of one another and doing something for the good of mankind. And
I mean, Earth song is amazing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Such a good song.
But his songs, you know, all had such a distinct message, and they, you know, they really spoke to you as, you know, as an individual, and it really inspired you. You know, I always
1,000 roads tangled up without a single sign. Yellow lines on both sides. And I've been caught in a race, running out of gas. Got my wheels going around, spinning way too fast. I'm gonna stop and watch the sunset, take a breath and let it all in. I know I'll find myself again, and when I have the strength to keep on driving, I'm gonna reach my horizon. It won't be far, 'cause I'll know it by heart. Oh, there's an end to this tunnel, and I can see the light, but I need it shining here tonight. All I've known for a while now are shades of black and white. I wanna see all the colors in my life. I'm gonna stop and watch the sunset, take a breath and let it all in. I know I'll find myself again, and when I have the strength to keep on driving, I'm gonna reach my horizon. It won't be far, 'cause I'll know it by heart. There's so many roadblocks in my way on this highway, but I know what I've got to do to make it through. I'm gonna stop and watch the sunset, take a breath and let it all in. I know I'll find myself again, and with the strength to keep on driving, I'm gonna reach my horizon. It won't be far. Oh, it won't be far, 'cause I'll know it by heart.
Hello.
No. future or past. You got your hand pressed up against my skin, and I got my head upon your chest. Breathing out and breathing in, eyes closed, trying to let it all sink in. Lying underneath the kissing tree, just you and me. And I wouldn't know if there'd be Armageddon going on all around us. All the weapons going out, full blast, going boom, boom, going boom, boom. And I see a little single flying up a line here in the sunlight. Listen to my heartbeat when I'm up beside you, going boom, boom, going boom, boom, going boom, boom. If this ain't heaven, I don't know what is. When I'm with you, sometimes I can't see what's reality and what's a sweet dream. You made me reach from chamomiles in here, butterflies so near, spat on my jeans. Oh, pulling out and tucking in softly, braiding ribbons into my hair, lying underneath the kissing tree, just you and me. And I wouldn't know if there'd be Armageddon going on all around us. All the weapons going out, full blast, going boom, boom, going boom, boom. And I see a little single flying up a line here in the sunlight. Listen to my heartbeat when I'm up beside you, going boom, boom, going boom, boom, going boom, boom. If this ain't heaven, I don't know what is. When I'm with you, the world just stands still. Now is everything. There's no future or past.